A journey into the unknown. There are journeys in history that change the world, and there are others that simply disappear. No final message and clear ending and survivors to tell the story. Only questions. This is the story of an expedition that set out with ambition, with confidence, with purpose, and was never seen again. A mission that began with hope and ended in mystery. This is the story of the Franklin expedition, the age of exploration. The 19th century was an age of discovery. Empires competed not just for land, but for knowledge. Maps still had empty spaces, white gaps labeled. Unknown, among the greatest mysteries, was the Arctic, a frozen world few had dared to cross. But one goal stood above all: the Northwest Passage, a sea route through the Arctic, connecting the Atlantic to the Pacific. It found it would change global trade forever. The man who would lead this mission, Britain chose a veteran, a man experienced, respected, determined, John Franklin. He had explored harsh lands before. He had survived extreme conditions. But this mission would be unlike any other. The ships of hope. 2 ships were prepared, strong, reinforced, built to face ice. They were HMS Erebus and HMS Terror, outfitted with the latest technology of the time. Steam engines, heated interiors, supplied for years. Confidence was high. This expedition was expected to succeed. Departure into legend. In 1845, the expedition set sail. 134 men, 2 ships, 1 goal. They left England to cheers, to pride, to expectation. Families waved goodbye, believing they would return as heroes. No one knew they would never return at all. The last sighting. The ships were last seen by whalers. In the icy waters of the Arctic, they were moving forward, confident, in control. Then they vanished. No messages, no signals, nothing. Months passed, then years. Still no word. At first, it wasn't unusual. Arctic expeditions often took time, but eventually, concern turned to fear. Something was wrong. Search missions began. The British government launched search efforts. Ships were sent. Routes were traced. Clues were hunted. It became one of the largest rescue missions in history. But the Arctic is vast, cold, unforgiving, and it does not easily give up its secrets. The first clues. Years later, search teams found something. Abandoned camps, equipment, signs of human presence. But no survivors, only fragments of a story. And each discovery raised more questions. The fate of the ships. Evidence suggested the ships became trapped in ice, locked in place, unable to move. For months, then years, the Arctic had claimed them, not with violence, but with stillness. The crews struggled. With the ships immobilized, the crew faced a new reality. Isolation, extreme cold, limited resources. Hope began to fade. Survival became the only goal. He decisioned to abandon ship. At some point, a decision was made. The ships were abandoned. The crew would continue on foot, across frozen land, pulling supplies, searching for rescue. It was a desperate move, and likely their last. The harsh reality. The Arctic is not forgiving. Temperatures drop beyond imagination. Food becomes scarce. Energy fades. Step by step, the journey became harder, and the odds of survival grew smaller. Evidence of desperation. Searchers later found disturbing evidence. Signs of extreme hardship. Signs that survival had pushed the crew to their limits. It painted a picture of a slow, tragic end. What really happened? Many theories emerged. Starvation, cold, disease, even poisoning from their own supplies. But no single answer explained everything, because no one survived to tell the full story. The role of leadership. Questions were asked about leadership. Could anything have been done differently? Did decisions contribute to the outcome? Or was the mission doomed from the start? History offers no clear answers. The Arctic as an enemy. The true force behind the tragedy was the environment itself. The Arctic, silent, cold, relentless. It doesn't attack. It endures, and those who enter it unprepared do not return. Discoveries years later, decades later, more clues were found. Artifacts, remains, pieces of the story. Each discovery added detail, but never closure. Modern investigations, even in modern times, researchers continue to search, using technology, using science, trying to solve the mystery. And while much has been learned, some questions remain unanswered. The legacy of the expedition became legend, a story of ambition, of courage, of tragedy. It serves as a reminder of both human determination and human limitation, lost but not forgotten. The Franklin expedition did not return, but it was not forgotten, because some stories did not need an ending to leave a mark. They set out to discover the unknown, but became part of it.